What are some little known relationship green flags? When you like the person that you become when you're with them. Everyone projects a different version of themselves around different people, and if you don't like who you become when you're with someone, it's probably not going to be the healthiest relationship. You also should bring out the best in you. The ability to coexist in very companionable silence. If it's a chore you both hate, you do it together. My late husband and I both hated folding laundry, but it had to be done, so we always did it together. Made the chore less of a pain. It's a pretty convoluted story, but I was dating a guy. Had to drive his car to get him from a situation, and wrecked his car due to mechanical failure, and called my mama to come get me so we could go get him. Rescued him. Then had to tell him I'd wrecked his car. His first question: "Are you okay?" My mom overheard. That one's a keeper. No matter how angry you are at one another, you will still go out of your way, or they go out of their way to help. I'll be wicked, P said, but I'll angrily make my wife her favorite dinner even though I don't want to eat. No matter how angry we are at one another, usually only last a short period of time, we will never sabotage or try to teach them a lesson. Many times, it ends up being both apologizing to one another. Arguing and getting angry is just part of a relationship and unavoidable. It is how you deal with it that sets it apart from a healthy relationship versus a bad one. Thanks for the reward thingies. There is never any harm telling someone you love them. Came home from working a 12-hour shift one night to a full dinner with my favorite dessert. Never had a girlfriend just decide to cook me a full meal for me to come home to like that. Able to forgive mistakes. Early in our relationship, I accidentally backed my car into my fiance's car while coming out of the driveway. I definitely did damage. I immediately started freaking out and crying, and he just calmly got out of his car. Came up to mine and asked if I was okay. He got me to calm down and said it was fine, it was just an accident. He never made me feel bad about it. He called it our little bump to my friends to minimize my embarrassment. We laugh about it to this day. Side note: his dad, who works with cars, fixed his car for him at no cost. No, he did not have any way of knowing his dad could fix the car. His father is not a mechanic. His father knows a mechanic. His father didn't bring up fixing the car until several months later. When you're on a road trip and your partner feeds you fries and helps you drink your soda or whatever, I think that's such a nice simple gesture of kindness. I feel like there's a lot of detailed examples that largely boil down to two things: empathy and emotional maturity. My ex would tease me a lot and would tease me in front of his family. He would say things like, "Oh, she changed her outfit 3 times because she thought you guys would judge her." Or, "She didn't really want to come over but I convinced her." He would be laughing and joking, but these things would be the truth. When I was going to meet my current boyfriend's family, I was really nervous. In the car I said, "Please don't tell them how nervous I am. It's so embarrassing." He looked at me in shock and said, "I'm on your side. Why would I tell them that?" And it was like a freaking light bulb. Love this guy. Genuine support in your life goals. Even if that means you two will have to go long distance for a while, or will have to have conflicting work schedule, or it will make your relationship harder in some way. If they love you and want you to be happy, they will be genuinely interested in what you want to do and will try to support you to do that in whatever way they can. They won't hold you back in any way. This is something me and my so have been facing something similar to this recently. He's just graduated and is looking for a job. As much as I want him to stay close by so we don't have to do long distance for any more time than we have to, I'm going home for the summer. But if he gets a job the other side of the country, I won't stop him, and as long as I'm around I'll help him pack up. When your so takes criticism from you seriously without immediately trying to turn it back on you. If the converse is also true, you two stand a great chance of going the distance. Telling the little details about your day. There's something really precious about that. And you feel in tune with the other person. Being able to emotionally connect even after an argument. Honesty, genuine interest in each other's hobbies. Don't have to do them, but at least support it. Strong communication, you feel like you're hanging out with your best friend, except you wanna smash. Being able to have healthy conflict without fear that conflict will cause the end of the relationship. It's green flag and a relief to have natural disagreements and communication about those disagreements without constant fear that someone's going to hit the nuclear option. Edit. Also, doctoring my coffee and bringing it to me in bed was a smaller green flag. Edit 2. Doctoring meaning putting cream and sugar in. And thank you for the awards and gold Reddit friends. When you never have to question their whereabouts and you get that safe feeling. Non-SZOD compliments. You taste good. Your partner does things for you without asking and remembers little details. For example, I like eating with a fruit fork, the smaller version of the dinner fork. I actually googled that since our family calls them the little forks lol. Anyway. My partner remembers this and will grab it for me when we're dishing up food. Another good one is they make you feel appreciated. Edit. Maybe a cake fork or salad fork. Laughter. And also, I've been with my partner for 40 years this month. And I still smile when I see him across a room. He still makes me laugh and my heart soars when I think of him. Listening to you and remembering the things you've said. Back when me and my boyfriend started dating, he'd sometimes bring up things that I've said before. My favorite foods, candies, etc. Made me super happy and could tell he genuinely cared. I drink a lot of water and sometimes my BF would stay until late and I would fall asleep. Before leaving, he always made sure I had a glass full of water on my nightstand in case I woke up thirsty. It's always the small details. Edit. I drink a healthy amount of water. You don't feel like they are playing games. Communication is direct and you don't feel too nervous about what you should or shouldn't do or say. And you're not worried about what they do or don't do or say. Some butterflies is normal. Of course. Close bracket. Edit. To clarify, my point here is it's possible to meet someone who, right from the beginning, you're not overly concerned about your interactions. You don't have to think too much about what to text them or when. Same with calls. They don't leave you wondering about when they will respond to you and what delaying means. They don't say or do cryptic things that you have to go home and call in a panel of friends to enlist. This is not to say that, in the beginning, you shouldn't take care to be on your better behavior and not to overshare. This is not game playing. It's being considerate. Cheesy but true. Communication in a relationship is like cell phone service. Lose it, and you start playing games. Active listening. Not just being there while you talk. Accurately giving opinions. Advice if asked for. And generally caring for the conversion. Bonus. Active listening during an argument. Not trying to win, but trying to resolve the problem. Edit. They trust you to stay at their apartment alone. Yeah. I thought I was the only one. The first time my partner said I could stay at his place in the morning to sleep in when he ran errands made me feel so good. They communicate if they will be delayed and how long they will be. Talk things through before it becomes a screaming match. Not after. Asks about boundaries, traumas and doesn't judge you for them, but instead respects them. They respect your food issues, weather preferences, allergies, etc. Bonus points. They defend you to their blood relatives. If she shows equal interest in hanging out with you. If it feels like you're dragging them into going on a date. They're really not into you. No matter what they may say. Besides, let's be honest. Wouldn't you rather date someone who is as excited and interested in seeing you and you are in seeing them? You want your partner to be happy and not the other way around. Oftentimes people want to be in a relationship to solely make themselves happy. Edit. My point is different from making your partner happy and completely forgetting your own happiness. If you two are able to compromise, they actually want to spend time with you. It feels easy, effortless, unforced, natural. This is a good sign of a real connection. Compromise feels like second nature. Both breadth, thoughtfulness and consideration towards each other. You figure things out together. You see each other, respect each other, and appreciate each other. You recommend them a book or movie and they actually take the time to check it out. Very subtle things that show they are a genuine person. Remembering things that you've told them and following up is definitely a good sign. It's the small things. The doing something just because it will make your partner smile and wanting nothing in return. Few months ago I was having a bad day and texted my partner about the basics and he said to head over to his place after work. I showed up so defeated by the day. Open the door. And my dog is there. He had spoken with my parents. Picked up my dog from their house because he knew that's what I needed. He was cooking dinner and told me to just go cuddle on the bed with my dog while he took care of everything else. That's when I knew he and I were in it for the long haul. Is your partner comprehensive when you are sincere and honest? Are you free to say what you think without being scolded? Putting the shopping cart back. Calling, texting just to see how you're doing. Even if they don't need anything. Edit. Used the wrong you despite being a grammar fanatic. Remembering things you said, like foods you don't like or topics you are passionate about. Willingness to attend family events, get to know your family, regardless of how difficult it might be. Maybe this is just me, but when someone doesn't care too much about people's opinions of them, like when they aren't afraid to act goofy in front of people they don't know. I absolutely love people that don't take themselves too seriously. They text you first. I'm an hour ahead of my partner. Usually I'm the first to send a cute good morning type text and I switch them up a little each day. Well, Sunday night, Monday morning I took off from work and was able to sleep in. Waking up to her sending the first move had me smiling like crazy. They're happy you have your own things you're into. You're happy they have their own things they're into. There's no battle of preferences. No nasty little hobby is dumb comments. Not a helpful comment, but I just wanted to say reading these gave me back some faith in humanity and reminded me of all the wonderful people in my life that I'm lucky enough to have experienced these green flags with. These are all great, but here's one that matters more for the longer term. Being competent at life. I'm not saying being rich or having a fantastic job or anything. I mean someone who is able to set a goal and work towards achieving it. No matter what that is. It makes a huge difference in life. Someone who can do that is less likely to sabotage your marriage for selfish, immature reasons. Someone who can do that probably won't drag you down with credit card debt. They have impulse control. So they probably won't cheat on you or leave you for some stupid reason. That person is a keeper. Arguments are productive and fair. You listen to each other even when you're angry. They can still be difficult. And everyone gets too angry sometimes. But if one or both of you is constantly mad and fixating on the same issue, it's time to go to therapy or jet out of there. The person makes time for you. Whether it's a romantic relationship or a friendship. People will always find a way to make time for those they care about. Let's say I'm super busy with my day. I can find 10 seconds to respond to your text. I have to eat a meal at some point. So even if I'm super pressed, I can invite you to have a meal with me, at restaurant, at a fast food place, at someone's home. I can call you when I'm driving in my car. It baffles me when people say I was too busy. Too busy to what? You mean you couldn't spare 10 seconds from your day to try to nourish your relationship with the other person? We all know you were on your phone while pooping. You could have texted then. When I met my current partner, we spent 3 consecutive days together. I generally don't like anyone in my personal space for more than a few hours. I also cried when he left to go home. We were long distance at the time. That's how I knew he was the one. When each person can find contentment without the other being present. A common red flag is the expectation that someone else can make you happy. When in reality that's something only you can do for yourself. The above is the opposite of that. Being good with animals. You don't have to chase them down to hang out. Like my ex was severely mentally abusive and would punish me by blowing me off. This was after 4 years of dating. Not like we were fresh and it was appropriate to not respond for days. So we finally broke up and met my now husband. He actually wanted to see me all the time. At first I thought he was a little clingy. But then I realized. If you love someone you should want to be around them. Having similar hobbies and the same taste in food goes a long way to help both people grow together. Little thoughtful things that tiny bit mean a lot to you and send a bigger message that they care. When other person takes an interest into something you're interested in. Even though you know the other person doesn't really care about it. Each side makes an effort to do the things the other enjoys. My ex broke up amicably, would sometimes make a genuine attempt to play video games with me even though she never gamed before. She would try and learn game mechanics, plot, and the best ways to help. I always felt like that was a huge plus. He or she is talking about the future and is planning for a future together. This means that your partner really loves you and wants to be with you. I was in love with my best friend and didn't know it. For my birthday, he gave me a bag of mixed candy with all of my favorite pieces. It touched me deeply. He knew me so well. Going on 6 years now and doing great. Get you a guy who knows your candy choices. An ability and desire to resolve arguments instead of ignoring them or letting them drag on forever. It's a sign of maturity and respect. When it feels like you ain't walking on eggshells. Know what I mean? Letting each other have their own personal space and interests. Not every activity needs to be done together. A lot of people in new relationships seem to think that everything should be done as a couple. Which can get old fast. I've been with the same man since 2005 and we have a good balance of family time and me time. When that says something you know you can take it at face value. You don't have to try to parse the language or analyze the tone to figure out what they actually meant. Knowing when to stop. If I say to stop something as a joke. Yeah lol I'd see if you actually stop or not. But if I seriously say to stop. And you stop. Holy damn that's amazing. Loyalty. Cuddles are more appealing than sex. My wife says the biggest early test I passed was when we went to Goodwill together at the very start of everything. She was looking at some wedding dresses on the rack and asking my opinion. I told her not to bother. Our family business is basically tailoring, costume shop where all the rentals are handmade in shop by a certified grandmaster costumer. Yes, that's a thing. And we could make whatever she wanted to her exact requirements for a fraction of the price. Later on she told me it was a test to see if I'd run away screaming at the idea of getting married. Like nope. There's no point to me in dating if that isn't the end goal. We got married. And she got her custom made wedding dress for free because we already had the fabric she liked. On the other hand all of those tests are a bit odd. Only one of you likes olives. When they don't make fun of you for not knowing things. Empathy. This may have already been mentioned in the over 2000 comments. But the number one green flag for me is if they speak positively about their exes. It's such a breath of fresh air when I hear a date still has positive relationships with their exes. And takes equal blame in the failure of their past relationships. Shows good self-awareness. Both of you feel like you're dating up. Genuine happiness about your accomplishments. Truly listening and remembering things you say that are important to you. Not taking you for granted. Looking into your interests or encouraging you. I'm fortunate enough to have a partner who does all of the above and more. On my first date with my now fiancée, I showed up and she had bought herself coffee. Didn't expect me to buy anything. Instant bonus points. Thoughtful gestures. During COVID, my partner was an essential worker while I was not. He likes to game. So I'd have a blunt rolled and a fresh pot of coffee made when he got home. He picked up some Harry Potter Legos and art supplies for me to keep me entertained during quarantine. He fills up my water glass on the nightstand before he goes to work. I'll pack his lunch the night before. It's the small things that sometimes leave the biggest impressions. Not checking their phone constantly during a first date. I fart. She smiles. She farts. I clap and or fist pump. You go on a trip together and you enjoy each other's company the whole time. Kindness. This thread made me realize I was in a relationship with a horrible person for 9 years. When they pass the Carnaby test. It's heartwarming how most answers here refer to their current, so while other more negative relationship threads always talk about their exes. If they wear a mask in public. Someone who puts in the same amount of work into the relationship. She cleans when she's stressed. So when she moved in she cleaned all the time, then after the first year together now I clean. My husband knows that I love ice water. Where the ice is filled all the way to the top of the cup. So every single night since we got married 5 years ago, he had filled up a cup of ice water to place on my nightstand. Seriously, something so small. But it's absolutely the sweetest thing. He hasn't missed a day. And I appreciate it so much. Video games. Gotta be careful though, as there are some quite different types of gamers and not all get along. Ask follow-up questions to your stories. Bring you small but thoughtful gifts randomly. I appreciate the things you do for me. Thank you for calling, texting. Good morning, good night. Sleep well. Sweet dreams. Have a good day at work. Text call me when you get there, when you leave. Hand holding when crossing a street or parking lot. Have you eaten? Full stop. Let me know if you need anything. Act. I think sharing something, be it an item, food, or knowledge, and genuinely not wanting or expecting anything in return. They get along well with their family. Not everyone is lucky enough to grow up in a stable family. So the opposite isn't always a red flag. But it usually shows that they're caring, kind, and able to resolve conflicts. When your so tells you things about your quirks and personality that you weren't even aware of. Consistency in how they treat you from the first date to current day. Dudes love to go above and beyond until they have you and then just take it all for granted after the fact. They clean up around your place without being asked. Just because it's a nice gesture. Semicolon. That being said, my GF refuses to hang toilet paper the right way, so it cancels out the cleaning. They do things for you just to make your day easier and don't use their kindness as a bargaining chip later. They can talk calmly about an issue without getting defensive. It's both of you versus the problem. Not one versus the other. They can talk about how they're feeling without making you a therapist all of the time. They want to grow as a person without you pushing, and they take active steps towards goals. They do things that are inconvenient if your needs outweigh their wants in that moment. This was just posted like 2 days ago. You know when someone is a true friend when semicolon. They remember what you like and don't like. They are not hurt when you leave early because you are tired. They don't criticize your life decisions. They know your boundaries. They are never late to meeting you and don't cancel meetings for trivial reasons. Semicolon. And the number one reason is